In 1992, amendments to the National Historic Preservation Act allowed tribes to create Tribal Historic Preservation Offices, or THPO. This now allowed tribes to manage their own culture. Over the summer, I chose to go to an archaeological field school and work closely with the Confederate Tribes of Grand Ronde and their THPO. In the past, archaeologists have disregarded the tribe when doing surveys and excavation, which has caused conflict between the two groups.
Archaeology has a historic baggage associated with it. It's a profession that has caused a great deal of damage and harm to cultural, indigenous communities around the world, and in particular those that comprise the Confederation of Grand Ronde. We're at a juncture now where community members here have that historic understanding, but we're able to demonstrate that that baggage doesn't have to go forward, and that this up-and-coming generation of professional is not that of the past.
To minimize our archaeological impact, we did extensive research and survey before opening the earth. The first thing every archaeologist does is background research. For most THPOs, this means looking at old maps and records during European contact, including any other archaeological research done within the subject matter. A part of this is also focusing on local stories for related information.
So Ikanam it's a Chinakwawa word that refers to the long past. It's kind of the myth age, or the age of animal people. This is a period of time about mythic players and actors on the landscape, like Coyote or Southwind or Ice or Flint. When they're setting the world in order, they're putting in practice and telling people how to behave and how to interact and where to interact. And so through our office, we look at this as having a lot of valuable information for understanding how and where there might be cultural resources.
Next, aerial photography is used to get a sense of where subsurface features might be based on characteristics on the Earth's surface. For example, clover or thistles like to grow on disturbed soil and can show the outline of a demolished building. After aerial photos, planimetric and topographic maps are made of the potential site. A planimetric map is generally made to guarantee that future archaeologists will be able to find the site. Topographic maps help archaeologists see fine slopes and hills that could be boundaries of a structure. In our field school, we used the total station and the chimple to create our planimetric and topographic maps. Mapping is also used to create a grid for the next step. A geophysical survey can look below the surface to find markers of human development. GPR, or ground-penetrating radar, shoots high-frequency radio signals into the ground and calculates how reflective the soil is. More reflective soils could indicate a hard-packed surface, like a floor. The gradiometer measures magnetic fields, and most cultural objects are characterized by a low magnetic signal. Before excavation, my field school chose to do catch and release surface collection. This method minimizes the effect on the land by narrowing down where to open an excavation unit. Instead of digging deep into the ground, surface collection only looks at the sod layer, and after the artifacts have been cataloged, they will eventually make their way back into the unit that they came from. After narrowing down where to excavate, archaeologists and THPO must both agree on opening the earth.
It's the position of Grand Ronde that if there are ancestors, every effort needs to be made to avoid that. And I mean every effort. It may cost millions of dollars to reroute something. If they cannot be, then each one of those cases needs to be addressed.
Once everyone agrees, excavation can proceed. Our field school chose to continue a dig from the previous year, in which half of a privy was opened. We excavated in arbitrary and cultural levels to open the other half. Thankfully, we did not take the cap off the privy. That was left for next year's field school.
Community members are seeing this field school as a demonstration, and then through conversation we're able to say this process here we can also demonstrate to the federal agencies who are ultimately responsible for enacting the laws. Here's a method that works just as well, that is much, much, much less intrusive. And that, again, comes back to healing for the community. Archaeology as a technique for understanding is huge. Archaeology as a practice for the sake of going out and collecting stuff, those days are gone.